Hi, it's Brendan, the Technology Concierge, and today I'm joined by Grant Rogers from Knowby, and we're going to be talking about video, in particular, the benefits of video for staff, providing instructions, standard operating procedures, and also the benefits of video for guests. So welcome, Grant.
Hi, Brendan. Hey, thanks very much for having me along. Good to meet you and great to have a talk.
You're welcome. So, Grant, why is video the best method of providing instructions, in your view?
Yeah, well, look, I guess I'll back up a little bit. Knowby contains video, but it also contains still images.
Okay.
So, what we are is actually a platform to build instructions on, made up of stills, text, and video. What we found is that no one will pick up a manual. We all know that, right? Yeah. That's a given. What we also found in our research is that people generally don't like watching videos. They perhaps know half of what's in it anyway. They often tend to be long-winded because they have to be to the lowest common denominator.
Yep.
And people generally get bored and turned off. And when they get to the bit that they actually need to understand, they've got to try and rewind it. But you're spot on. The saying that a picture paints 1,000 words is incredibly true.
Yes, and I think you're spot on as well, because an example, I was trying to fix my lawnmower a couple of weeks ago, and I found a chap on YouTube that had the perfect video, and a lot of it was all preamble, and I wasn't necessary. But when I got to the bit I wanted, I did replay it and replay it and replay it just to digest that bit. So I can understand once we have a look at Knowby where the benefit comes in, that you're just highlighting the section that is of most interest to the staff member or the guest.
Yeah, you're spot on. Like, people just want to know how to do it. They just want to know. They want to get the answer. So we looked at instructions. It sounds really boring that we're an instruction platform. I get it. There's heaps of ways to build instructions. You can build them free on YouTube. You can do PDFs. There's lots of different things you can do for instructions. But we actually sat back and looked at it. And, we looked at it from a lot of different angles. We looked at it from the end user.
Yep.
We looked at cognitive learning principles. We looked at the fact that, people were spending they digest information in less and less time. It's all about social media and how quickly things are. So we looked at it from that end user perspective, but we also looked at it from the perspective of the person building the instructions. Like, something changes in your operation and you've got to rebuild an entire video that took 4 hours and cost, $5,000 to build. You don't want to do that, so that's how we looked at building Knowby, and we came up with this concept of step-by-step instructions, just like you digest any of the social media platforms. You scroll through, you see what you want to learn. There can be text, there is text, there's pictures, and there's short video, so it's one step. So that's how we looked at it.
Okay, that's great. I get your point. Obviously, if you've done this quite complex video and then one piece of it changes, it's very difficult or impossible, but time consuming and can be expensive to change that. That makes perfect sense. So, Grant, as we said before, a picture paints 1,000 words. So why don't you run us through quickly Knowby and what makes it different?
Sure, Brennan. So here's an example we built the other day before we went into the No Vacancy Expo. So, how to change a beer keg. Literally took us maybe 10 minutes to make it, including walking up and down to the cellar. The guy actually has already printed the QR code and put it down in the beer cellar for staff that don't do it very often. And you can see it literally takes you through, in this situation, how we actually change a beer keg. I'll go down to this step here, step 5. We were going to record it because it was a little bit messy. It took them a bit of time to get it on. But we actually decided, no, it's actually good because it shows that it's actually quite difficult to achieve, and so we left it at that. And there you are. We're back upstairs pouring our beer.
Okay.
What do you think of that? Do you reckon you'd be able to whip down there and change it without too many troubles?
Probably, yes, actually. I think I could. So there's a couple of things there. You said obviously, a staff member would access this via a QR code down in the cellar, which is fantastic. They just do it on their own phone, of course. And what we're seeing here is not just one sort of 5 or 6 minute video, but small videos with text underneath. So almost like an instruction manual. I'm almost thinking about the in-flight emergency procedure
Yes.
on an aeroplane, but with the benefit of actually having video as well. As you said, where it got a little bit complex, resitting the stem onto the keg, you left it in because you wanted to explain to people this is a little bit difficult. Don't give up. Keep trying. You will get it.
Yeah, exactly. And look, this is all videos. There's plenty of them, plenty of Knowbys that are built that have still images in them. It just depends what you're trying to show, really.
And so you said you were able to build this in about 10 minutes?
Yeah, 10 minutes. We started upstairs. By the
Yep.
time we got the lift down, and it literally took us 10 minutes, I reckon, to build the whole thing.
Yep.
And if we wanted to edit it, it would be very, very simple to do as well.
Yes, because you're just editing, obviously, that one,
The one step.
the one step. Yep. Yep. Reshoot the video, slide it in, and away you go. Change the text.
Exactly.
Yep. Yep. Or, as you said, you can pop still images in there as well.
Yes. Yes.
Fantastic. Maybe you could show us how it's done and how quickly it can be achieved. I think you've got.
Yeah. So if I was going to build one, and look, I have cheated because I've uploaded the images to my phone beforehand. But let's say we were in an apartment or an Airbnb, and the oven was a little bit complex to use.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
they can be sometimes in like in our service departments and things like that. We know
Yeah.
that the dishwasher or the oven sometimes, like if I know, for example, my oven at home, if the time's not set, you can't use it. So let's just imagine you've got a service department and for some reason there was a power outage and then the guest tries to use the oven and can't. That will generate a call to someone to say, hey, my oven's not working. Whereas you're saying here, we can give them a really simple video.
Yeah, and the customer doesn't get frustrated, the guest doesn't get frustrated and annoyed. The front desk or whoever is answering a call doesn't get bombarded with calls that it's actually really simple, mate. But it's actually not, because if you don't know, you don't know. So I'll just take you through how we build one. So we put in a title. Let's just call it "Use the Oven." Go into our library. We select cover image. We can move it to get the best angle.
Yep.
This is where we decide if it's available publicly or not.
Yes.
We show in a guest situation you would, because they don't want to have to download an app to find out how to do something. They just want to know how to do it.
Right.
So we make it publicly available, and then when they scan it, it just appears in the web. There's
Yes.
another button here that we can also use, not for guests but for staff, around compliance. So if you want to make sure that they understand they've been trained in something, etc., we can use that. Let's concentrate on the guest for now. So that's our cover, and then we literally start building, and it is like doing something on social media. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to turn the oven on. So we'll push the on button.
Yep.
I might be a bit rough with some of my descriptions just to keep our time down, but
Yep.
The second thing we do, we'll go into a video this time, is we'll set the temperature. Unfortunately, this will be changed within a couple of weeks. This is the one of the two UX problems with Knowby, is that we process one at a time, and that is going to change. It's all going to happen in the background while you keep building. But
Yeah.
so if you just bear with me while the video loads, but you can still see it's still very quick.
Yes.
Compared to anything else.
And we could be shooting these videos obviously live, which is what you did in the case of
Yeah.
Peg. So, or you may have shot the videos in advance. It's completely up to you.
Yeah. So push the down arrow, and then the side arrows to select temperature. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go back in and we're going to turn it on. I mean, we're going to push the start button. Yeah, this is actually in my own house, and we went away for a holiday, and one of my son's friends actually house sat and fed our cats and dogs for us. I built him one on the oven, one on the cooktop, and one on the washing machine. Before I left, it literally took 10 minutes, and he had no problem at all.
Okay.
But and then we save it. I won't do that because it'll take 2 or 3 minutes.
Yes.
But I'll show you.
Here's
this,
one.
This is the oven.
Yep.
Turn it on, adjust the temperature, push the start button. Won't work properly. Shut the door and turn it off. Incredibly quick and easy to build. For the person building its perspective, super simple and super cheap. And good quality. From the end user's perspective, wow, it's so engaging. It's so easy to follow. You don't even need to understand what you're doing. You just do this, do that, do this, and then, hey, presto, you've got what you want.
And so from a guest point of view or a staff member's point of view, the easiest way for them to access those videos is just via a QR code. Is that right?
Yeah, within the app itself, we generate QR codes. You just need a label printer. And we create the QR code. It's got the title on it, what it is. Print it off. Stick it on the oven. Stick it on the dishwasher. Stick it wherever you need. Stick it in the beer cellar. Obviously, you don't want to stick the oven one in the beer cellar. You've got to get them in the right place. But
sure.
But yeah, you understand my concept. And and the other thing is, someone rings you up and there's no QR code, you can literally text them the link.
Are there any other tricks and traps that you've come across that, obviously when you're using video that we should be aware of?
Not really. I think the real value proposition of Knowby is just how absolutely simple it is. Look, you're looking at a vastly more advanced version than what we started with a couple of years ago. The user experience from both the builder and end user perspective it's really slick. We're really proud of what we've achieved with it. So look, there's a few other things that there's always stuff in the pipeline with us, but keeping it simple is key, I think. You just want to know the answer. I just want to know how to do it. And from the person's building its perspective, they just want to keep it simple. It doesn't want to be complicated. People get frustrated with complications.
And in a hotel environment, to be honest, consistency is important, that we consistently present the rooms in the same manner. And if you've got a staff member that's new, it's a great way for them to be able to, watch the video a couple of times during the week, for example, if they really need to. Because traditionally the way we've taught in hotels is you might shadow somebody for a couple of days. We all know that you probably absorb only, at best 80% of what they teach you. It's that last 20% that you forget. Whereas I think, we know that video is a great learning mechanism. And as you said, the smart thing is, I think, making it mirror social media, which we're all addicted to these days, just makes it even that much more intuitive. You don't need to teach people anything. It's just like watching TikToks almost.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think you hit the nail on the head with training. Like, we retain so little, and like a lot of training is online nowadays, and it's that 10-minute long, really non-engaging video, or it's like you said, it's show, this is how we do it. And, I'm going to show you 30 things, Brendan, in this room, and I expect you to remember all of them. And it's just impossible. Whereas if you've got this and you're spot on, you show someone to do a job, you show them it with the Knowby beside them, you leave them to it. They might go back to and refer to it what's the fridge meant to look like? Oh yeah, it's meant to look like this. And they might refer back to it 2 or 3 times and then they're away. They don't do the job for 6 months. They come back and they look at it again. I've got them built for me for things that I don't remember how to do something I did 6 months ago. So yeah, you're spot on. The whole learning concept is really powerful.
That's awesome, Grant. Thank you so much for showing us Knowby. I can really see the benefits, as we said, both from a obviously from a staff point of view, but also from a guest point of view in certain environments. As you said, often we see in service departments and things like that where you do have dishwashers and dryers and washing machines, that it's difficult to communicate to the guest, how they work. If there's a little something that's a bit different, like your oven, obviously, it looks a bit more like a DVD player.
You're lucky. You're lucky I didn't show you the cooktop. I still don't know how to use it.
There you go. So, no, really appreciate your time today. Thank you, Grant.
No worries. Thanks very much for your time, Brendan. Appreciate it.
Cool. Thank you.